Jake adjusted his tie in the mirror for the third time that evening. His reflection stared back at him, a man trying to look calm and composed. But the impatience bubbling beneath the surface was undeniable. The clock on the wall seemed louder than usual. Its ticking counting the seconds he waited. "Emily," he called out. His voice echoed through their quiet home. "We are going to be late." Upstairs, Emily was fumbling with her earrings, her hands shaking slightly. She had spent hours getting ready, trying to make sure everything was perfect. But no matter how much effort she put in, she always felt she fell short in Jake's eyes these days. "I am coming," she called back, forcing a smile that didn't quite reach her eyes. When Emily finally descended the stairs, Jake was already at the door, his hand on the car keys. He glanced at her briefly, his expression unreadable. "You took your time," he muttered, opening the door and walking out. Emily's heart sank, but she said nothing. The car ride to the restaurant was silent, the tense between them palpable. Jake's hands gripped the steering wheel tightly. His jaw clenched as he navigated the busy streets. At the restaurant, things only got worse. Jake's frustration boiled over as they waited for their food. "Do you even care about tonight?" he asked, his tone sharper than he intended. Emily looked up from her glass of wine, startled. "Of course I care. Why would you ask that?" "Because you always late, Emily. It's like you don't respect my time or what I do to plan these things." Her eyes filled with tears, but she refused to let them fall. "That's not fair, Jake. I tried. You'll always try, but it's never enough, is it?" Jake interrupted, his voice low but biting. Emily set her glass down carefully. "I think I'll take the car home." "You can take a cab," she said quietly, standing up. Jake stared at her, stunned, but didn't stop her as she walked away. Part of him wanted to call out to her, but his pride held him back. At home, Jake sat in the darkened living room, nursing a glass of whiskey. His phone buzzed on the coffee table, Emily's name flashing on the screen. "She probably wants to apologize," he muttered, ignoring the call. He wasn't ready to talk. Not yet. The phone buzzed again, then again. Each missed call added another layer of guilt he wasn't ready to confront. Finally, it stopped, and Jake exhaled, convinced he'd deal with it tomorrow. Morning arrived with a knock at the door. Jake grudgingly opened it to find two uniformed police officers on his porch. "Mr. Carter?" one of them asked. Jake's stomach dropped. "Yes?" "I am Officer Daniels. I am afraid we have some bad news," the officer began. "Your wife was involved in a car accident last night. She didn't survive." The world seemed to tilt. Jake clutched the door frame, his breath coming in shallow gasps. "There must be a mistake," he whispered, shaking his head. "I am sorry," the officer said gently, handing him a small bag. These were her belongings. Jake's trembling hands opened the bag to find her phone, wallet, and the bracelet he had given her years ago. The phone screen was cracked, but it lit up when he pressed the button. There were 3 missed calls from Emily, all made just before midnight. Jake's heart pounded as he saw there was one voicemail. With shaking fingers, He played it. Jake, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have walked away like that. I love you and I don't want to fight anymore. Please call me back. Her voice, soft and full of regret, shattered him. He collapsed on the couch, clutching the phone to his chest as sobs racked his body. In days that followed, Jake functioned on autopilot. He went through the motions of planning Emily's funeral, meeting with his friends and family, and sorting through her belongings. But every night, he replayed her voicemail, hoping to feel closer to her, even for a moment. One day, while cleaning out her closet, Jake found a small box hidden behind her clothes. Inside were letters Emily had written to him but never given. Each one was dated, some from years ago, detailing Emily's moments when she felt unappreciated, overlooked, or hurt by his words. But there were also letters filled with love, recounting happy memories and dreams she had for their future together. One letter dated just a week before the accident said, "Dear Jake, I know things have been tough between us lately, but I believe we can get through it. I love you more than words can say, and I'm willing to fight for us if you are too." Jake held the letter close, tears streaming down his face. He hadn't realized how much she had been struggling or how much she had loved him despite their problems. Now, Jake visits Emily's grave every week. He brings fresh flowers and sits for hours, talking to her as if she can hear him. He tells her about his day, his regrets, and the things he wishes he had said when she was alive. "I am sorry, Emily," he whispers one afternoon, placing a bouquet of her favorite flowers on her grave. "I should have answered the phone. I should have fought harder for us." He looks up at the sky, wondering if she's watching over him.